Aspen Waite Radio.
You're listening to Ben and Kate on the Sunday Breakfast Show. And as always, we have a special guest on a Sunday at 8:30. Hopefully you've got your tea and your toast ready, because I'm delighted to say that Sam Morris, drummer from the band Fickle Friends, joins us right now. Very good morning to you, Sam.
Good morning.
Now, I've just obviously know a little bit about you from our producer who's done some a little bit of a bio, and I want to talk about the thing you're here to talk about, really, which is to be as in the band of Fickle Friends and as a drummer. But you're a Reading fan, aren't you? You support Reading.
Yes, I do. I do indeed.
So that's really what's going to take up the next half an hour, probably. We can talk about Reading season. We will get to that. We'll talk about football, but let's talk about the band and let's talk about you. And obviously, we're getting closer now to the prospect of live events, which is just amazing. How much have you missed that experience?
Yeah, it's been a strange 18 months without any kind of live music or festivals or anything like that. You know, the theatre have suffered as well. But it's just been really different. You know, going from having a full festival season booked for 2020 and then everything just getting cancelled. And then just having to kind of deal with that, you know, financially as a business, but then also, you know, between the four of us, kind of figure out what we're going to do for the next 18 months. So yeah, it's been tricky.
Yeah. And so what do you miss the crowds and
Yeah.
sort of playing together all in one space?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't played our instruments together in the same room for the last show we did was December 2019.
Wow.
So it's been a while since we've even been in a room together to do that. So yeah, I definitely miss, you know, the adrenaline rush of playing with my three best mates and in front of people.
Yeah, because nothing beats like a live crowd and that kind of feedback from the crowd.
Yeah, it's a very special feeling, and you realise how lucky you are to actually experience that in the first place, let alone, you know, like every week on a festival season.
Do you prefer playing the festivals or the sort of, you know, the standalone shows? What's your preference? What are your favourite type of gigs?
They've all got kind of like little bits that kind of are better than the rest. You know, like a festival it's usually great because the sun's out and people are having a good time, and there's loads of other bands on that you can go and see yourself. You know, you can go and just drop into a few shows, but you know, playing like a headline tour of your own is certainly a great feeling because all those people were there to see you, and that's a really special thing to experience.
And so you said that, you know, you hadn't been in the same room for a really long time playing together, but in that time you've managed to do some new music. And how have you done that? And how did you find doing that?
Yeah. So Natty and Jack have continued to write and record our new album. And that's why we've been able to release music, is because they've still been working on our music. You know, me and Harry have been around for photo shoots, video shoots when required. But it wouldn't work for the four of us to, like, financially, it just doesn't work. You know, there's four people to support, and we can't all be supported when there's no income from shows or anything. So we've been working part-time. Because, you know, you've kind of got to make ends meet for yourself, but also for your three other bandmates.
Did you feel a little bit like things were put on hold as a musician and COVID came along and that was it, and then you had to do something different for a while? So many musicians have had to do that, like we said, in theatres and across like live gigs, just completely going. What part-time work did you do?
So I'm very fortunate. My dad owns a tree surgery business, so like I just moved to Brighton at the beginning of 2020, and I was there 3 months, and then I came home because I was just like I can't justify that. So I came back and I worked full time from May till December, and I'm down to part time now because I was just like I need a bit more time to do music, and you know I've started my own remote recording business, as you can kind of see from the video. So I wanted more time to do that. So it's just, yeah, I was very lucky to be able to drop back into that.
We're going to play a song now. We're going to play one of your songs. We've
Oh,
chosen
okay.
Hard to Be Myself. So tell us a
Nice.
little bit about that.
That song has got an interesting story behind it. You know, lyrically speaking, it's very special to Natty. It's a very personal song for her. But that song, I think there was maybe 20, 25 different versions before it got to the versions you're about to play. You know, trying to figure out which part was the chorus and which part actually, like, you know, it went through rewrites upon rewrites, and someone eventually went, what if the middle eight was the chorus? And then that was kind of that was it.
Love it.
Excellent. Right. Well, let's have a listen. This is Fickle Friends, Hard to Be Myself. We've mentioned how difficult it has been. Have you found that since coming back or starting to come back, that the actually having the break, although none of us have liked it and have to stop doing things that we've done, has that made you almost more hungry for success and to be creative, or are you finding it difficult to get back into the swing of things?
I think it's been quite difficult for us, particularly as a band, because we decided to not do any festivals in 2019 to write our second album. So we've had almost, you know, it'll be almost 3 years of no festivals. So, you know, you can't plan for anything like a pandemic. So that's just been quite a frustrating point for us. But as we kind of get back into it, I think for me anyway, there's just a lot of excitement to be able to do the thing that we've done for the past kind of 10 years. And it's still, you know, it's still fun. I think we're just excited to get going again. Even if we've taken 2-3 steps back, you know, as a group, I think, you know, it's just something fun to do. I think that's kind of what I'm feeling.
We talked a little bit about obviously getting back into things and how you've managed through the last year. You released your debut album in 2018, and that was called You Are Someone Else, and it made it to 9 in the UK album charts.
It did, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how that felt, because obviously because of the pandemic, similar to some of the lower level football, it's actually just almost wiped a year or two off the calendar. So that's still something that's very, very recent, especially because of what's happened.
Yeah. When we did our album release tour, and kind of we did a whole week of some in-store performances at like HMVs, you know, wherever they are these days. And we did a lot of shows, and because you find out where you've charted before it's announced.
Yeah.
So we found out, and we were, which motorway is it? Maybe the M69 coming down from Glasgow to Carlisle. And we stopped off at T-Bay Services, and that's when we found out. It was maybe slightly cringy at the time, and I don't think anyone really knew what we were doing, but we did a synchronized jump hug. That was quite something.
Why not? Why not?
But yeah, it was a really like happy time, definitely. But yeah, we've really had everything just wiped completely. Like you say, like with the lower league football, there's a guy who works for my dad who's the captain for Maidenhead United, who play in the National League.
Wow.
So he's you know, he stopped playing football for a long while.
And so you've said, sort of announced it on social media that you're doing some recording of your drums from your bedroom now.
Yeah.
And kind of offering your drumming services on a bit of a pay what you feel basis, which is amazing, especially after this pandemic too. Have you had any interesting projects yet, or how have you been finding it generally?
I was surprised, because whenever you kind of start something new, you're not really sure if anyone's actually going to care, or whether anyone even wants the service that you're providing. But I posted it on Instagram a few times, and I had a couple of people message me, and I did 3 songs between those 2 artists. And then I kind of messaged kind of my friends, really, so other musicians. And I think by the time I finished the backlog of songs I've got, I think I will have worked with 6 different artists, and I'll have done 17 different tracks.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which, you know, like, I never thought it was going to go that well. But for it to be kind of a success in that way is great. And it was really important to make it pay as you feel as well, because everyone's had a tough time. You know, musicians don't have money at the best of times. So, you know, I felt like I owed it to, like, the community to kind of just get my portfolio going and get some tracks recorded for people and get their songs finished, because live drums on a record certainly do make a difference.
Make all the difference. Yeah, amazing.
And what's it like playing in your bedroom? Because as a DJ, I've done a lot of gigs online over the last year, and it's almost that there's a phrase for DJs of like a bedroom DJ, where you come from and you aspire to get into the clubs and the bars, and actually even the top DJs, the likes of Pete Tong, have all been in their bedrooms now DJing. What's that been like as a musician?
I think, like, I found it quite therapeutic in a way, because it's just you on your own, and I've got like, I'm on WhatsApp on my computer, like, talking to the person, like, who I'm working with as I go, and, you know, jumping on the phone if we need to. But then I've got a plugin that streams the audio from my computer to a link on the internet. So as I'm, like, writing the drums, recording the drums, I can literally play them what I've done, and it's instant feedback, which actually makes it quite similar to being in a studio, you know, and having a recording engineer and the artist on the other side of the glass. But yeah, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it.
I can't let you go without mentioning the football that we mentioned at the start, which is you're a big Reading fan. It's not often that I find another Reading fan to talk to, so you need to make the most of this. How long have you been a Reading fan?
Oh, I think I was about 14 when I started supporting them. So 15 years. I'll let you do the maths on how old I am.
I'm just trying to work out if you, obviously the Steve Coppell years, the Premier League.
Yeah, I was definitely a fan back then. That was great. That was really enjoyable as a fan.
Wonderful times supporting the club. Do you still get to go, by the way? Because obviously it's we haven't been able to go for a while, but would it be something that you still try and get to next season if you can?
Yeah, I think I'd like to try. I think, you know, like I mentioned, the guy who works for my dad, the Maidenhead captain, I've been to see Maidenhead probably more than I've been to see Reading this season. So, you know, whether there's a change in allegiance on the horizon, I don't know. You know, something more grassroots and local.
Yeah, grassroots football is great. Well, hopefully you'll still keep an eye out for Reading and fingers crossed for a good season next season. But tell everybody where they can find the band across social media and find your music.
So we're on every platform of social media you can imagine: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you know, everything. And then as far as listening to our music is concerned, we're on Amazon, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, and YouTube, of course.
Excellent. Well, Sam, thank you so much for getting up on a Sunday morning, coming to talk to us. It's been an absolute pleasure, especially as you support Reading. I'm chuffed to bits that we've managed to find somebody that supports Reading to come on the show. We wish you all the best with the rest of this year. Hopefully, festivals, gigs will all be there for you, and we'll get you back on, and you can tell us all about how 2021 turned out to be, because we can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Aspen Waite Radio.